Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to take a look at the new Umarex Octane in 22 caliber. This is Umarex's first venture into the gas piston driven brake barrel air rifles with their ReAxis gas piston. It is claimed at 1250 feet per second, shooting 22 caliber alloy pellets, and 1050 feet per second, shooting 22 caliber lead pellets. The gun weighs 9.5 pounds. It is 48.5 inches long. They claim 42 pounds of cocking effort, and I find this to cock much easier than that. I would say it's probably 37-38 pounds of cocking effort. And the silence air compensator on the end of the barrel gives it a good grip for cocking, and overall a very nice rifle. Okay, on the end of the 19.5 inch barrel you have their silence air, which works quite well. Regular lead pellets, the gun only generates 95.1 decibels. That is quite quiet. Has true glow fiber optic sights on the front, and it has fully adjustable, micro-click adjustable fiber optic sights in the back. It has a composite stock. It's kind of almost a skeleton stock. There's pistol grip, thumb hole stock, so it's easy to grip, but I do not like the stock. It lacks any kind of raised cheek piece, and it is not real good for shooting from the bench. And it has a nice rubber butt pad on the back. The gun comes with their dovetail to Weaver mount adapter on it, which I have had trouble with in the past. I have not had any trouble with this one so far. I was quite surprised it lacks the scope stop behind it that they had on the Ruger Air Magnums. It comes with a 3-9 by 40 millimeter adjustable objective scope, which I found quite usable, at least at 20 yards so far. It seems decent. It does not have any mil dots on it. The trigger, it's a little different from the T05 trigger. The guns with the T05 trigger had the thumb operated safety release. This one has the safety inside the trigger guard, and it's backwards for most rifles like that. Normally the back is on safe and you push forward to remove it from safe. This one forward is on safe and you got to pull back to fire. That's a little unnerving. The trigger itself is also a lot different from the T05. It's got a pretty light first stage, but a very stiff second stage. But the second stage is crisp. You know exactly when the gun's going to fire. Okay, before we go any further, let's go back to when we just took the gun out of the box and look at the prep work that we had to do with this gun after we unboxed it. Okay, the first thing we're going to do with this gun is we're going to crack the barrel open, remove the quick tips tag on there, and check the breech seal and clean the barrel. Okay, as you can see, there's a lot of crap inside the barrel there, and the card slides right over the breech seal. Okay, after I have cleaned the barrel, I'll shoot some pellets across the chronograph till they've settle down and I'm getting a stable reading, and then we'll replace the breech seal and re-chronograph it with the same pellets, and we'll see the difference. After cleaning the barrel, I realized that this barrel swings too easily, so we're going to pop the stock off real quick and tighten up this bolt right here. You can see that, and then we'll slap it back together. Okay, we have our bore cleaned, and we have our breech pivot bolt tightened. There was blue thread locker on the mounting screws. I put a fresh coat on there, so make sure it all stays tight. Now we're going to run some across the chrony and see how it does. Okay, I just shot 5 Crossman Premier 14.3 grains across Crony. Low of 853.3, high of 862.6, average 857.2, extreme spread of 9.24, standard deviation 3.31. Okay, that gave us 23.34 foot-pounds muzzle energy. Now we're going to change the breech seal and see if it improves. Okay, we've changed the breech seal, and as you can see, the card catches on the seal. It should protrude above the surface like that. So, yeah, dang it, Ruger, if you're going to keep putting that damn ridiculous tag in between the breech and the compression tube, at least stick an extra breech seal in the parts kit so people can shoot their guns right away. There's no reason that a person should have to have a supply of RWS or Umarex breech seals on hand. Okay, after replacing the breech seal, we had a low of 868.1, a high of 891.5, an average of 878.8, extreme spread of 23.34, standard deviation of 10.48. So we gained over 21 feet per second in velocity, and we picked up 1.2 foot-pounds muzzle energy, but we increased our extreme spread. But shooting the Crossman Premiers, that doesn't surprise me. Okay, we're going to start with the Crossman SSP 9.5 grain alloy pellets. Okay, we had a low of 1106 feet per second, a high of 1121 feet per second, an average of 1,111 feet per second, extreme spread of 14.76 feet per second, standard deviation 6.78 feet per second. That gave us 26.04 foot-pounds of muzzle energy and 104.1 decibels. In shooting the alloy pellets, the gun fell 139 feet short of the factory claims. Let's see how it does shooting the RWS Hobby 11.9 grain. We had a low of 941.4 feet per second, a high of 958.2 feet per second, an average of 951.1 feet per second. That is 98.9 feet per second slower than factory claim. The 16.77 foot extreme spread, standard deviation was 6.78. That gives us 23.91 foot-pounds muzzle energy. So the rifle definitely does not live up to the hype. As you can see, from the chronograph ratings, the rifle did not quite live up to the hype for the claim feet per second or the muzzle energy. For the rest of the readings, our most consistent pellet and most accurate pellet was the H&N 21.14 grain Barracuda match. That had a low of 692.3 feet per second, a high of 699.5 feet per second, average 696.6 feet per second, 7.28 foot per second extreme spread, standard deviation was 3. That only generated 22.78 foot-pounds muzzle energy. Still enough to kill a raccoon or a coyote, but you know, nowhere near the claimed muzzle energy. Our second most accurate pellet and our most powerful pellet was the RWS Superdome 14.5 grain. It had a low of 895.6 feet per second, a high of 904 feet per second, average of 900.2 feet per second. Extreme spread was 8.49, standard deviation 3.16 feet per second. That pellet generated 26.1 foot-pounds muzzle energy. That was pretty decent. Across the board for 11 different pellets, the gun averaged 24.37 foot-pounds muzzle energy. One pellet, the JSB Match Diablo Exact Jumbo Express, for some reason that pellet only generated 20.09 foot-pounds muzzle energy. If you just throw that one out of the mix, the rest averaged 24.8 foot-pounds muzzle energy. There was a few that were, in the 25 foot-pound muzzle energy category, but the only one that was reasonably consistent was the Gamble Hunter 15.43 grain pellet. It had an average of 856.9 feet per second, 12.71 foot extreme spread. That pellet generated 25.16 foot-pounds muzzle energy. All the others were over like 21 to 24 foot per second extreme spreads, which is just not good. Sometimes they can be accurate, but I didn't try them. Let's take a look at the accuracy, and then you can make up your own mind. Okay, we're going to be shooting H&N Barracuda Match 21.14 grain pellets from a distance of 20 yards. Five shots, 5 dead squirrels. Okay, I probably shot 130, 140 shots through it before that accuracy test, so it is broken now. I could cover that pattern with a penny, so this gun is quite accurate. It's fairly easy to cock for an ultra Magnum Springer. It has a pretty decent scope. It's not the greatest scope, but it's pretty decent. And it's backyard friendly at 95.1 decibels, 9.5 pounds. It's a long gun at 48.5 inches long, but it's definitely a good hunting gun. The one thing I gotta take away from it is the lack of any kind of cheek piece on the stock. Some people really use it, some people don't. I don't think it's quite as important from the shoulder if you're hunting. But overall, the trigger is quite usable. It's very stiff, but you know exactly when it's going to fire. And I think that's what the big key is. You know when it's going to fire. I did not try the optic sights, but the fiber optic sights looked like they'd be pretty good. The scope took a little practice just getting it sighted in. It kept walking low and left, but it finally settled in, and we got a nice shot group in on it. So I guess the biggest question overall is the gun worth the $219.95 that it retails for? Yes, it is. I know a lot of people have talked about wanting to buy this rifle because they think it's the most powerful break barrel air rifle on the planet. That is just not the case. Of the 4 Ultra Magnum Springer 22 calibers that I own, this is only the 4th most powerful. The most powerful generates 30 pounds of muzzle energy. The second most powerful generates 28 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. They are both spring piston guns. And then the next most powerful is 27 foot-pounds of muzzle energy, a gas piston gun. And this one at 26.1 foot-pounds of muzzle energy, also a gas piston. So I think the gas piston guns have yet to catch up to the spring piston guns. But overall, if you're looking for a good, powerful rifle that is accurate, easy to shoot, easy to cock, comes with usable optics that you can hit your target 20 yards or 40 yards or whatever, this gun is probably the one. It only retails for $219.95. That is cheaper than any of the other rifles that I have. This rifle is pretty much in a league of its own in this price range. You're not going to find a more powerful rifle for that dollar amount. I don't care what you spend, I don't think you're going to find a more accurate rifle. So even though it's not the most powerful air gun on the planet, it's probably one of the best values for the money. And I think that's what really counts, is it's very usable. You're just not going to beat it for the money. So that is my review of the Umarex Octane 22 caliber. Have fun shooting.